We are live. We are live here in Vegas. The 2W podcast is here at AAPEX. Really a hot week. AAPEX is obviously probably one of the biggest events, arguably would be globally, certainly in North America, South America. AAPEX is where your great, local, global manufacturers, big, medium, small, come to meet to talk about their new product innovations. It's where distribution comes to meet with manufacturers. It's kind of the 1 year that you are guaranteed a meeting at some level if you need it. We obviously live in kind of more of a global economy. People are flying in around the world. It's really an awesome. If you have not been to SEMA or AAPEX, it is automotive focused and automotive focused only, and that is awesome. We also bring in some of the new, young, up-and-coming tech companies focused on automotive. We love talking to new, young leaders. I think we start to see, the next generation of leaders kind of begin to pave the way, how we think about our industry, things that we can improve on from potentially the past. And, I personally am very committed, and I believe it's our duty to carry the baton forward in a big way. We're going through digital innovation. We're going through, artificial intelligence. How do we make that, how does that work in our industry? How can it become a growth lever and not just something that you talk about but don't know how to implement? But more importantly, Versable, founder and CEO, Christina Seong.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So exciting to be here. It's my first AAPEX SEMA. So
yeah,
it's been crazy, but super fun.
Yeah, no, that is really awesome. And thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love talking to young leaders like yourself. I'd imagine founding a company, running a company.
Yeah.
It's got its fulfillment and fun times, but also has its challenges.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, so we'd love to just kind of start off a little bit about your background. I'm particularly intrigued with the young leaders of the next generation. We certainly probably, my guess is you probably think a little about things slightly different than, say, a 60-year industry guy that comes from, decade after decade of innovation in certain areas. But from your perspective, maybe you give a refreshing look at it. So I'd love to just understand a little bit more about yourself, Christina, and then how you kind of got into the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to Berkeley, surrounded by a lot of amazing startups in the Valley in San Francisco. Started out my career in private equity, where it was super exciting to see a lot of these large legacy industries that finance was focused on, and quickly transitioned into tech. I've always been in or around tech in the Valley in San Francisco in the beginning of my career. And obviously when the Gen AI boom started happening, I was super excited. But what I saw was that there are all these huge legacy industries that kind of make up the backbone of the American economy that finance focuses on, that kind of keeps the ball moving with the American economy, that tech wasn't really focused on at all. So I saw a huge opportunity there where we could implement and build a pretty simple AI application that could really disproportionately add value to the industry. So that's how I arrived at the auto parts industry, just kind of decided to dive head first, and it's been a journey. And we started the company in January, so first year, and it's been great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think first off, I tip my hat on the perseverance and the fortitude it takes. It's walking into an industry, you have to jump in.
Yeah,
you have to jump in.
Yeah, no other way to do it.
There's no other way. No other way. You dive in feet first. But I'll say the great thing I think about automotive, and I was in a sense that I didn't dream of being in automotive.
Yeah.
I kind of was introduced coming out of my MBA and into the distribution, and you quickly fall in love with the people and the personalities. And then ultimately, I'm for whatever reason, somewhat of a tangible guy in a sense that you walk outside and you see the transportation industry. That's what you do, right? That's where your technology layers in at some level in that world. And ultimately how we bring great value to organizations. Versable, walk us through a little bit about the core focus there. What's the mission behind it, and how is it? How are you operating that today?
Yeah, so I think at 1,000-foot view, the mission is that we want to bring cutting edge technology to legacy industries. And we're starting with the automotive aftermarket, but it's, plan on expanding to a lot of different industries moving forward. Basically, what we're doing is using AI to completely automate the management, enhancement, and transformation of product data in the auto aftermarkets. And this looks a couple different ways. So the first thing we do is validation of customer data against auto care standards, which change all the time. The second thing is enhancement of that data. So sometimes when we get data from retailers, distributors, or manufacturers, it's just not market ready.
Yeah.
And we have these teams of amazing catalog managers kind of manually processing this data, which takes a really long time. And obviously there's a resource constraint, so you can't onboard as many products as you want at scale. So honestly, like I feel like that's the type of work that AI is best suited for, doing things like that at scale. And we use AI to create these market ready titles, descriptions, features, benefits, all of those things. And the next thing that we actually just launched in beta is attribute generation. So yeah, it's been an exciting new product line, highly requested by our existing customers. So if your products that you're getting are missing a lot of key attributes that customers need to purchase that product, we fill that in by looking at a lot of competitive data, seeing what's on the web, checking our database. And yeah, we pull it all together. If you need the file format to be in a very specific way, so for example, if your manufacturer is selling to like 5 different distributors or platforms with different data guidelines, we help you transform all of your data to sell at as many places as you can.
Yeah, so you basically are taking the data, and then if there's a different format needed, you have the ability to articulate that through your platform.
Yeah.
To now distribute to that mass sellers, to where now you're taking, one set that maybe it needs some enhancement in certain areas, and you have the ability to go in and through your application, which is a lot of it is AI driven.
Yeah.
Is that walk us through AI? I think for the last few years I've seen AI, and you have too, I'm sure, continue to be a kind of a, not a buzzword, but AI. It's easy to say. Yeah, we get it. It's some sort of database of information, right? That it's pulling from someone historically put that data into somewhere, right? And then it begins to kind of help you from a efficiency, effectiveness perspective. Obviously being at the cutting edge of, kind of where you've kind of run through, and, in the Bay Area, and seeing a lot of different things move. Walk us through how you define that. Right, using AI. What does that mean? I mean, I think that's a big question. I'd love your take on it.
Yeah, so I think there are 2 things that kind of pop to mind. The first is making AI really usable, and AI is a buzzword right now, and especially in legacy industries, people are like, AI is going to take our jobs.
Right.
But we're not there yet. So building a product on top of existing AI technologies that's so easy to use is going to be the number one thing for building for an industry like this and for the masses. And then the second thing is kind of like a human in the loop. Again, AI is great, but it's not perfect. Humans are great, but it's not perfect. Where the magic happens is at the cross section of someone really smart using AI the right way. So having a human in the loop is super important. So when we're building AI, we look at a couple of different layers, and these are all things that we think deeply about when we're building every feature, every tool in our arsenal. So the first is understanding what model you're using. And I think generally people are most familiar with ChatGPT, which is built by OpenAI. There's also Google Gemini. There's a lot of other open source models that all have strengths and weaknesses. Some of them are really good at matching and categorization. Other things are really great at doing content generation. So picking the right model to build off of is super important. And we use a couple different models for different pieces of our product. The second is actual fine tuning of that data. And this is where ChatGPT falls short. And customer education is actually a really big part of my role, just like educating the people in the aftermarket about why you can't use generalist solutions like ChatGPT in industry-specific applications. So things like ChatGPT is built off of very, very general knowledge. And it's good at doing a lot of things, but not great at doing one thing very, very well, especially in a technical industry like like processing data for the aftermarket. So the process of fine tuning requires you to teach the AI and train it based on industry-specific data. At Versable, we have a database of tens of millions of validated auto parts data that we feed into the engine, so it understands the nuances and the terminologies that the industry uses. And we also need to feed it sample input output examples, so it expects what to receive and what a good outcome actually looks like.
Yeah.
So that's the second piece. The third piece is, as I'm sure a lot of people are aware, prompt engineering, because AI isn't rule based. It's not like, oh, add this and then it equals this. It's kind of a black box. Giving it the right prompt is super important and getting the right outcome. And the last step of it is kind of guardrails. So what we call issues in AI is like hallucinations. And that is something that the AI is making up. It may sound right, but we know it's not correct. So having programmatic ways and rule-based systems to guard the AI from hallucinating, and also having a human in the loop to be able to always spot check all the data that we're getting as the output is also super important. And those are all the very, very important pieces and the layers of AI that I think anyone building it needs to think about.
That's a really important piece. And you mentioned something that I think is intriguing. A lot of people, certainly in legacy industries, they're very quick to say, we're going to lose our jobs, right? And, I've always kind of since said, first off, progression and evolution come with change, right? But I also don't believe that we're just going to have mass exodus of jobs. I think you are now going to repurpose where that job lies and what your expertise is, because the objective is for an improved outcome, right? And so I think when you start to look at, well, okay, we have an improved outcome, we already see, okay, a labor force, you're taxed with all of these kind of to-do lists, and you're not, maybe you said, well, I could be, and even today, can you be more efficient in your day?
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Yeah,
always. I know for 100%. And so when we look at like efficiency metrics, like a generative, AI or something that's helping you develop data or develop some kind of process in your organization, through that, the outcome is better. That frees up resources that can be applied to additional growth levers in the business.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a really good point. So I think what we're trying to do really is we take all the menial data processing away so you can actually focus on growing your business, strategizing, onboarding more products. And this is the thing with like every new technological advancement, even with like Excel or legacy systems. People used to do all that stuff manually. And maybe this replaces a portion of the work that you're doing, but it's really not the stuff that a human needs to be doing. It's the stuff that a machine is better suited for. So we want to empower our users and our customers. And again, like the intersection of AI and humans is so important that I don't think job security is really an issue with AI, at least yet.
Well, I don't think so either. I mean, sure, I guess you could say to some degree it may, but we also do what we do today in industry and our professional careers, to make a living, right? Our world's not going to just say, we don't need humans anymore. We have AI bots and everyone, humans can just go somewhere else. That's not how the human interaction works.
No, I mean, even like building a part, right? Like you have these factories that's highly automated. And when these machines came to being, maybe it replaced a couple of factory jobs, but it made things so much more efficient and freed up the labor force to do something more meaningful that a human should be doing and is much better at doing than a machine.
Absolutely. There's a lot of focused activities on the personal interaction. I kind of just believe that the more that we keep the personal interaction alive in the industry and still enable the technology and advancements to help us become a better suited industry, it's an improved outcome. And so, I look forward to really kind of following your work. I'm quite intrigued by it. If people want to look into your site, or do you have a website?
Yeah, we just launched our new landing page. It's just versable.ai. We also have a LinkedIn page where we just kind of talk about the common misconceptions of AI and common AI pitfalls. And that's also Versable AI on LinkedIn.
Yeah. If, we have the whole industry, obviously this will go out, but if any folks want to get in touch with you directly, are you active on LinkedIn, or how best could they get in touch with you or your company, Versable?
Yeah, I mean, always active on LinkedIn. Just DM me on LinkedIn. I'll respond within an hour. But I'm also always online on my email, which is just at tina@versable.ai. So super simple to remember.
Awesome. Christina Seong, it's an honor to have you on the 2W podcast to talk about the being the founder of Versable and running that organization. It's really exciting to watch it grow and develop. I think the industry has their eyes on all of these type of things. Some don't know how to apply it. Some do. Some are kind of trying it and testing it. I think it's a great time. So we are honored to have you. I hope you have a great week out here in Vegas.
Thank you so much.
We hope to talk soon. And any new product enhancements, releases that you go, we'd welcome you with open arms.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been fun, and I'm gonna walk around more, get more steps in.
Yeah, I know. Get those heels feeling good
Yeah.
for tonight.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much, Gideon.
You got it. Absolutely.